I got rid of the messy hair if you've seen part 1 and 2 intros. Anyway, we're on the final part 3, where we finish the metal fabrication on the console and show it in the car. So please enjoy. All right, have that sliced out of there. Plenty of material left. And now I'm coming in, marking it, and then going to clamp it and just gently tap each one of these, of course. You got it held on center at the top. I'll start with the bottom. I'll get them all spot welded in. I'm after the radius with my cuts so that when I come back in I can remove material hanging out the sides there. And I'll start the tack it and weld it up. Well, it's been a few hours, but I do have now, I have this in, welded on. You can see the ends in here. And yeah, I can come back and TIG it and all that, but you know, this is going to be upholstered. I think I mentioned that earlier. And metal finishing, I'm still a novice, you know, maybe not a novice, but I mean, I'm still learning this process. So I quickly kind of went around it to try to take off a lot of the hammer marks and identify where I can start to dolly a little bit and pull a lot of that out. Even because it's going to be upholstered, I still want to get it as good as I can. You know, maybe the upholsterer will like it. Anyway, so that's done. Now I have to make the 2 end caps, and then we'll go from there. I'm thinking a plasma cut die, you know, press it to get the shape in it. But at this point, you know, plasma cut, put it in the press it down, make it a little big, cut it to fit, that kind of thing. So we'll see. Still thinking. You know, it just occurred to me that you guys I've probably not shown you what I do for making corners like this. I guess I never even thought of it. I should have. This one is the radius on this guy here. The radius on this guy here, he's perfect, okay? But it's for this side, but the light's better here. So I left it flag out. That's some deformation from the press, but if I need more material, I can straighten that out. So I just chose to stack up 3 pieces of 10 gauge, so roughly 7/8 of an inch. And I thought I'd kind of take you through what I did. And so we needed a right and a left die. They're symmetrical. So basically I just blew out 3 pieces of 10 gauge and then just sanded a radius on them. I mean, I knew what I wanted that radius to be. I marked it out and just rolled it over on whatever, you know, the drum sander. That's the cutout. Same piece, same 3 pieces cut out. I didn't particularly line them up, but I just welded them all together. Now it's too long on this end here, so I want to make sure that I give myself enough material, and I don't care that that slides in there, but it helps me line this up. It's just a quick and dirty, right? I mean, that's all it is. So now I'll line him up. Give myself a little space. That first one I pressed, but I didn't have the other side radius because I wanted to make sure that I was going to be successful. But they're all 3 radiused at this point, so all I got to do is shove her down. Let me check here. Yeah, that should be good. We'll just give her a little push. We're into one corner a bit. Yeah, she's sliding in. Okay, so now I'm gonna release. Get more toward the center. Whoa, yeah, so she slipped in. She slipped in. And she's flat. Let's check it. There you go. And voila. I'm going to set the phone down and have you look through this hole here for a minute. See if I can't get them out of there. All right. Okay. So there we have a piece. And as I look at it, it is the side I need too. That was luck. This is, I don't need, because I needed a right and a left. So yeah. So that's the piece that sheared straight through. Sorry about the light. So I have two pieces. I'll keep the extra material on. They form up very nice. Very nice. So now I'll proceed in cutting them out. First I'm gonna get half of the garage out of here. So frustrating. Well, that was so far a futile exercise. I noticed as I was digging that the gas pressure seemed to drop, and then it dropped off completely. I ran out. So that's as far as I got. Just a little scratch around the corner. I did that first section and then I came into this one. Wanted to make sure everything was hammering in good. And because there is so much variation and I want to get the panel straight, I mean, you try to eliminate it. I can pull this in, but I'm going to see where that's in contact right there. I'm relief cutting it with my saw. And so I'm going in and slowly moving in as I cut it apart. See, I have to achieve, how can I get a view of this here? There. I have to achieve that radius. There. That's just dandy right there. I can't get into the corner, but that's gonna line up. I can push that in. And then this radius here. So I'm slowly cutting away material so I can keep a tight gap and then just going after it. But I'm certainly getting penetration. That's all ground out. In any event, that's as far as I've gotten for this e-brake that's getting more attention than anything else. I can't believe that. All of that just to make a pocket for an e-brake. But it gives context, it gives dimension, you know, all that kind of thing to the console. There appears to be there's going to be enough room for a couple of cup holders in the back here. That's the next mode of operation, is to continue the bead around that. When I cut that off to size, maybe I already shared this, but there's the piece I cut off. So we've got to play with that. And until tomorrow, because I ain't got nothing. Well, it's a new day. Got out here about 5 and finished one side. So that was not. You can see a little bit of the weld in that. You know, I'm just trying to get in there and clean it up, but then I stopped. I got to get to the other side. But the cap rolls around all the way, welded in here, and then trimmed to the into here. So you can see the weld right there. So that worked out. It worked out well. It held the shape, all that. It's just, it's tedious. You got to go in and cut. You can ignore this. I was trying something with a, well, you can see I've got my whole arsenal out here of Dremel related stuff. And so I was running the Dremel over these welds here to try to blend them a little bit more, but I don't know why. This thing is going to be upholstered. But anyway, so one's in, and now I'm going to work on that one and get him in, you know, moving right along. Now it's time to install it onto there. That was fun, but time consuming. Okay, carefully scribed and cut out the shape of my piece. Okay, little undulations and so on and so forth. I mean, I trimmed this, but cleaned up the edges. Got it tacked in flush, and I gotta just push it down and start working. These corners are gonna be the fun part. Just getting those dollied in. They do look pretty good. They look like they're gonna come in just fine. So I'm just gonna continue working my tacks over to here on both of these, and then can continue down. I knew this was going to be a bit of an issue, but with this 90-degree corner and this dollied flat, everything's been dollied flat before I stuck it in there. Before I even cut it, I just dollied and dollied and dollied. So now we'll just finish welding her in. It is meticulous work. Okay, this TIG thing is actually starting to click with me now. I pulled a continuous across this surface. And I wrapped these because I wanted to lock in these two ends. And then ground them down. Flip this over and dollied it down because the tacks, they felt everything dropped in. And this was, if you remember right, this was lifted. So now I just finished this edge, and I'm up to the corners. That's where I stopped there, and well, a little around the corner. Stopped because I made a little hole. But now I'm going to start to work that and get this surface as planished and ready to go as possible. And then I'll begin welding around the backside. She's really starting to lay in. Just even looking at this, so you can see it's down there. Just have to dolly this in a little bit and keep working the material down. But it's really coming along great. Very, very happy with it. We'll keep going, and pretty soon we'll have that done. Then we'll have to figure out how we're going to cut a hole in there for the e-brake. And it looks like my Monday Recita cup holders is coming today, so I'll be able to actually place those on and determine where I want to put the holes. And I still have that backside to do. And something for a cell phone, either tray or vertical pocket or something like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But we'll keep going. well, getting the down the sides now, and then whoa, I'm not going to get that hammered in. So, excuse me. Whenever you weld on one side of a piece of metal and not the other, you're going to get some bow. So this is just a console, and it's nice and straight on this side. But there, you can start to see it pulling in. So it's going to do that. That's just like the hoods. Those of you that have been with me for this build, it's just like the hood sides. When I went around the engine, well, these guys. When I did that first one and I went around the engine and I snipped that interior piece as I was welding on that great big panel, it shrunk like that. Now, these are wheeled and all that, and of course that stuff will eventually come out. You can push it out. On this, you're locked into it. Now, I knew that was going to happen, and I didn't want, I'm thinking if this is in 1/8 of an inch over the finish, this clocked in at 2 inches, it stayed at 2 inches, all that kind of a thing. But this metal, as I'm welding it, of course, is pulling, heating, and then shrinking back, tightening up. So the only way to really solve that on something like that really isn't ever going to be an issue. It'll never be seen. It'll never be calibrated. It's sitting beside a seat, that kind of thing, is to do this. Clip! And then finish it up and put it on. The interesting thing is, I wonder how much that is. I mean, let's find out how much this shrank, huh? Because this was a tight fit. Get my old man arthritis to work. So it shrank that much. It shrank that much. Line it up on the one. About a 1/16 of an inch. This side winds up being than that. And anyway, just something that I thought I'd call out. But I'll just keep on plugging away, right? Keep on plugging away, get this side welded on, brace it, weld it on, and then I'll have to put a little seam right there. It's not catastrophic, but something to remember. This isn't a buttload of welding, and I'm trying like the dickens to keep my heat signature as small as possible. You can see I'm starting there, and then there, and then there, and then there, because I'm moving a clamp as I go. I'm not spot welding this side, and I probably should, but I'm just running it across. This side here, I'm not that terribly worried about because it'll sand out, number one. Number two, this is upholstered in the end, and I've already got, it's almost 2:50 in the afternoon, a horrendous amount of time in just that. So now, for those of you with the keen eye, in the last little episode, you saw this gap in here, and she was a monster. So I basically just took a coat hanger and welded with that. No, not really. I just used a larger rod instead of using some twisted. I've been using twisted 030. I just went to a 1/16 and started chasing down it. and it was not easy, to say the least. And like an idiot, I ran this through I wanted to make sure it fit in the car properly and that I was going to clear it with this, and I did clear it with this, but I was right on it, on that brake. And that's where the carpet's relieved. It's relieved for the carpeting. I just rolled it through the English wheel over there. But I pretty well flattened it in this area, and so I'll dolly it, and then I'll just have to run it through again. I'm still working on my ends, finishing, and because the gap was so big, I put, I kept feeding filler. I'm 100% of the way through easily, but slow going is all it was. So now to the grinding and the DA work and the make it look pretty and that kind of thing. All right.
But it is only January 15th, so.
Oh, I keep doing that. I run the YouTube videos. I just keep YouTube on while I need sound in the garage, otherwise I go crazy. But there it is, getting ready to cut the hole. Turned out good. Very happy with it. So I put that roll back in it. She's a little tight right here. I'll have to roll it a little bit more. I just did that. But yeah, I mean, shoot, I'm proud of it. Cup holders, the rear cap, a hole for the brake. Still moving along. Hey guys, so now it's the new morning. Been out here for about an hour. So now I just took a piece, the end cap that I'd cut off of here. Maybe you saw it laying around. I had originally cut a curve into the back of this, and I sliced this piece off like that so I could maintain the curve. And then I just proceeded in shrinking and shrinking and shrinking until I got a profile. Okay. And that profile is going to be the back of this cut back to form the kind of the shape of the seat. I wheeled it. I threw it in the wheel to try to get as flat as I can on this surface and on this surface, and a little bit of dolly work. There'll be more dolly work on the bite marks from the shrinker, but I don't want to overdo it. Unwinding is harder than winding. So I took one slice and started to move in where I could actually strap this thing on over the top of this, right? Pitch it together and tap it down. And then I leveled this off with this. I got it on the same horizontal plane when it's clocked, right? Okay. And then I just scribed around it. You can see my scribe mark here. Let me flip it up. There, you can see my scribe marks. Okay, the magic markers where I was nibbling, I was always staying back, always stay back, because see if I didn't stay back, because at that point I'm just laying this on here and or whatever, tracing the opposite side as I migrate in. And there's obviously minor variation. So, and then I am carefully cutting. You can't really see this. You can kind of see a hint of the scribe line on there. You come up into here. But of course I want to stay on the waist side of the scribe line always. And then I'll come back and clean it up with a roll lock, you know. But anyway, I'm going to finish trimming this off. I'll get him tack welded in and welded up and ground and going from there. And let me look here. Got the cup holders. The most important thing was to get something as small as I possibly could. The second most important thing is that it would fit one of these. And so I dimensioned and looked and dimensioned and looked. These are smaller than boat ones. I wanted shallow. So now it looks like I can get 2 in here and a cell phone holder. I may be able to get 2 into here because I have some horizontal distance as well for the rear. That's left to be told. So I'm going to finish this up. Going to cut the hole in there after I finish that up. That hole is going to be allow the e-brake mounting. Many videos ago I built this mount, but these 2 bolts, then they're on weld nuts. They'll unscrew. I pull that pin, take the e-brake cable off, come up, but I want to be able to go down and go into that. So that's the plan. And then I'll leave the hole small enough because the boot is going to be made out of the same material as the cover for the console, the upholstery for the console. So I'll open it up. I'll do whatever I need to do at that point when I get to that. So okay, so once you're done trimming, I use a cutoff wheel to get close, and then in this case I used an 80 grit because I wanted to come in slow. So I'm blocked underneath with wood, believe it or not, but that a 2x4 fits in this 4.5 inch space perfectly. It's got the rate, whatever, it fits right in there. And so then you got to step back, you got to do a visual. Does everything look right? Of course this is measured for width and all that, and how are the seams going to line up. Now you can see how that seam is growing as it works its way down, and I'm a little bit short, but that doesn't matter. I can just radius this up because this is the carpeting in the back. Okay, so I'll tap it and tap it, but those of you that TIG know that as you start to heat, it starts to pull together. So all I've established here is the perfectly flat spot. I'm totally comfortable with the fact that it might start to radius just a little bit, because that's good. So I'll probably lock him in around this radius so that I can make sure to dolly that out nice and straight so it doesn't show up, maybe halfway, and then I can start to, if I need to push, I can start to push, but more often than not, those gaps start to close up. Remember that everything shrinks, everything pulls. Now I'm not going to get a 1/16 of an inch, and that's more than a 1/16 of an inch, but I've got easily can put pressure on it and work my way around. So let the fun begin. I wonder if I'll burn that wood. Absolutely. Okay. On the wood thing, don't weld on the wood. Okay, so I used the block of wood in here so that I could get the corners. Okay, if you weld on top of the wood, it's going to contaminate the material. So I'm just, foofing. Anyway, so I got the top welded, and you can see the light gap in there. I just ground off my tacks because I'm going to get ready to that side and that side. Did a little dolly work up here. This for whatever reason fell in as well. As I was TIGging, I would just move my clamp around, and this guy must have fell in as with the heat. But it's an iterative process. So you start and then you kind of come back and go again and adjust and just keep going until you get the results that you're looking for. So now the light line looks good across here, and kind of tough on this side. I mean, I've been moving it around, but you can see it kind of grows a little here. So this will have to be dollied in a little bit here. And of course it's going to get tight around the bend because that radius, as you're pulling that material, that radius tightens up. Very natural, right? Very natural kind of a look. So anyway, I got to run in the house and then I'll come back out and finish welding it up. Okay, you can see a hint of the weld, but I'm not going to take it any more than that. I dollied and dollied and dollied. It profiles really nice. I haven't done anything with the corners yet other than sand, and I can see I'm probably going to add a little bit here because I don't like that feeling. And then I got this side done. You know, I'm using an old, I don't know, Harbor Freight dolly or something to kind of tap it out, and it's working. It's working. You'll never see that through the upholstery, you know, even if it's glue bonded straight to it. But yeah, it's coming out good. I'm just going to keep plugging away. I got the other side to do now. Just a slapping and a tapping. We'll get it. Okay. E-brake opening, cup holder opening, and then I took the opportunity to make a miserable mess out of so I had this, we all remember that. So I took this and I elevated each side and took that pipe and just bent until I got the shape of the front of the console there. Okay, that profile. Gonna have that set in that profile. See? And then, oh, it's in my hand. I was gonna grab my cell phone. Anyway, and then a cell phone. It's bigger than my phone, but I can't show you my phone. Anyway, so now I'm gonna figure out how to get this integrated into there at some point. TIG weld him on, and now we've got a pocket that's about that deep. This is 100%, other than that press, 100% hand formed. It was open on one end, so I had to form this end and monkey around with it, but I think it'll work. It'll work really, really well. So I'm gonna weld it in and hope like the dickens that I got the radius right. Okay, package tray is fully welded. That took a while, a lot of tapping. And so we can see what, I've ground the one edge of the weld until I touch the sheet metal. So I'm just taking the highs off, but now I'll have to go back in and dolly everything back to flat. This turned out really good, and I tacked, and this turned out really good. Just got to do a little bit of tapping, but these sides, oof da may. It pulled all over the place. So, but it's in, it's centered, and we'll start goofing around with it and finish this project up. Well, I think we can wrap this video. Cup holders are in. 3-part series, huh? Get him all. This is curved in the along with this, but it gives a little bit of a deeper well. Turned out really nice. Love it. Project. Other than I gotta make a rear mount for that, and and a bottom brace for that to make sure that it keeps that spacing perfect for the, you know, nothing of any significance. But then when that cup holder in the back comes out, then you'll be able to remove it there, and then the 2 screws up front. The console, let me get a light on in back here. Set it down. Oops, sorry. So then the console follows the contour of the seats, and the rear seats will fold completely down. Both seats are fully back. So turned out really good. Rear passenger or passenger can use that cup holder. Because it's only 4.5 inches wide, you know, you don't have a lot of options there. So 2-inch band right there beside the driver's seat up to the front cup holder. Of course, I could have put a cup holder in there, but I need the cell phone because that'll plug into the USB to run the GPS or music or whatever for the radio that'll be overhead. So we're making progress. AKK!